Hi guys, welcome back to April After Dark. Tonight I'm going to be talking about something I said I was going to be talking about months and months and months ago. I think it might have been November. So tonight I'm going to be talking finally about the curse of the Omen. So sit back, relax, and listen to the curse of the Omen. And remember, you have been warned. If something frightening happens to you today, think about it. It may be the Omen. Is this a coincidence? Is it just a series of misfortunes? Or is it really a movie curse? You decide. So the Omen came out in 1976. June 6th of 1976 to be exact. 666. There was so much tragedy, disaster, everything when this movie was being made prior to and after, as well as during. So everybody was asking the question, is this an omen that we shouldn't make this movie or what? In June 1975, right before production, I want to say 2 months before production, Gregory Peck, who played the father in The Omen, his son actually committed suicide 2 months before production of this film. It's kind of weird because he's playing a father in The Omen and his child is the antichrist. His son shot himself with a bullet to the head. During production, Gregory Peck and the screenwriter, I believe, David Seltzer, both traveled from LA to the UK. And they were actually on 2 separate planes at different times and lightning struck both of their planes. Yeah, weird. The executive producer's plane was also struck by lightning, and another part of the production team, his plane actually nearly missed being hit by lightning. I don't know, it's very, very strange that all that happens with lightning, because lightning is such a thing that they say it's so extremely rare for it to strike in the same place twice, or, you know, for it just to happen anywhere near the same place twice. It's just very bizarre. So you've got the committed suicide son of one of the main actors 2 months prior to filming. Then you've got planes, multiple planes being struck by lightning, and another one nearly missing lightning strike. And that is not the only strange occurrence that I have with planes to tell you about. Gregory Peck, once again, was to fly to Israel, and he changed his flight reservations at the last minute. So then they changed that plane to being a regular passenger flight. Well, that plane actually crashed and everybody perished on the flight. So had he been on the flight, he would have passed on as well. But, you know, at the last minute, he changes his mind, doesn't get on it, and this plane perishes all of a sudden. There was also a plane that they used for aerial shots for the movie, and at the last minute, they decided to use a different plane, so the replacement plane actually did all the aerial shots and did it really well. Well, so the plane that they had intended for it crashed immediately upon taking off. And supposedly, I had read something about birds. There's like a bird sensor thing that kind of scares off birds from the plane. Well, that it wasn't turned on this particular day, and that all these birds flow right into the engine, and that was one of the reasons that this plane crashed. So very, very strange things with airplanes. I don't know. That is too freaking weird. And it doesn't stop there. Let's get into the animal part of the movie. So remember, they're filming in a national park where, you know, the mom and Damien are driving, and they're seeing like baboons, and they're visiting all these animals, and the baboons were actually pretty crazy and really were jumping all over that car. So Lee Remick, the actress that plays the mother, really truly was terrified during that. So the scene that you're seeing is actually real. Her fear and, you know, being terrified, and the little boy that played Damien was also pretty scared as well. But that's not the craziest thing that I've heard. So at this particular national park, Windsor Safari Park, I believe, there were lions, and there was actually scenes that were cut from the film that they had used lions in. So the day that they took off and left the compound, the trainer was actually, or the guard was in his little booth, and these lions actually got out, got into the booth, and killed him immediately. And this was the day that they left the compound. The Rottweilers that were used in the film, you know, you see all those Rottweilers toward the end of the movie in the cemetery, and then you see the one, obviously, that seems to almost watch out and watch over Damien. They were actually pretty menacing dogs. Once they would get, you know, wound up, they couldn't stop. So one of the Rottweilers actually mauled one of the stuntmen. There is a scene in the cemetery when one of the Rottweilers is biting, and supposedly this dog bit so much it didn't stop until it actually passed out. After filming had actually wrapped, one of the stuntmen was on his next film, I'm not sure what the name was, A Bridge Too Far. So he was filming this fall that he was going to take when he felt like somebody actually pushed him, and when he landed, he broke almost all of his bones, seriously injured himself. And when he was in the hospital, he told friends and family that he actually felt like somebody had pushed him when there was actually nobody around him. And this was wrapping filming The Omen. So there is stuff that happened prior to, during, and after the making of this film. A producer of the film nearly lost his life when the hotel that he was staying at, I think it was a Hilton hotel, was bombed by the IRA in London. Another crazy thing is that Gregory Peck and the other producer had actually made reservations at this seafood restaurant, and moments before they were arriving for their reservation, it was also bombed by the IRA. But I swear, one of the craziest things that I've read, heard, whatever, that have to do with this film has to do with the special effects designer John Richardson. Now I don't know, I've heard that it's a lady friend, or it was an assistant, or that it was a colleague or something of his, but whatever she was, John Richardson was actually in Belgium with her, and they were driving around. They actually had a wreck. They collided with another car, and it was pretty bad. And he actually, you know, survived it, but his lady friend did not. He actually saw her get decapitated in the car, and he is actually the one that designed a lot of the special effects, and came up with the idea for the nanny in the Omen, the one that is, "Look at me, Damien, it's all for you," and then she jumps to her death and hangs herself. And yeah, so he actually came up with that scene, and supposedly this wreck that he was in with his assistant, lady friend, colleague, whatever she was, it's like the glass actually decapitated her, so very similar to the movie. And supposedly when he woke up from being in a haze after the collision, he looked up and there was a, you know, like a marker in the road for bicyclist, and it said 66.6 kilometers for Omen in the Netherlands, and it was a city called Omen, O-M-M-E-N. What the hell? I don't know. That is too freaking weird. And you're talking about a film where there's seasoned professionals that are, you know, involved in this film, have worked on many films, and they all, and the cast, felt like there was something off, something not right. Like, this movie was not supposed to be made. Like, it's almost like there was some otherworldly force trying whatever it could to not have this movie be made. Very, very, very similar to the Exorcist curse, where it's like these religious, you know, dark matter movies. There's a force of some sort that is trying to have these movies not come out. It's very, very, very strange. Everybody just kind of felt that way. Everybody was nervous about it. Everybody was just uncomfortable, and they just felt like something was off and not quite right. So I just don't know. And you know what? I actually saw the other day that there was a new television series on A&E called Damien, and it's based on the Omen. And it's basically Damien 30-something years later trying to come to grips with what he is and who he actually is and what he's supposed to do with all that and why. And they actually said during the making of the series that they actually kind of fell into some of the same curse stuff. You know, very bizarre things happening with birds, actually. The actor that plays Damien in the series Damien said that while filming, he was in his house and a bird somehow got into the house, crashed into a wall, and he picked up the bird, you know, to fix it, help it, and the bird died in his hands. And that's just creepy and weird. So that was one thing. Another thing was that one of the producers was actually jogging, and a bunch of crows kind of swooped down and attacked him. Another very strange thing was one of the members of the cast was actually writing a scene for Damien, the show Damien, and while she was writing a scene, a bird kept pecking at her window like it was trying to smash into the window while she was doing this. There was also something about a hawk eating a rabbit just in front of the entire cast and crew on season 1. It's just very, very bizarre. So what do you guys think? As always, do you think this is just a series of misfortune and, you know, just crazy events, or do you really believe that it's a curse? I totally believe in the curse. Completely. It, you know, doesn't take much to convince me of that with all this stuff that, you know, surrounds the making of this film. But what do you guys think? And if there is a detail or a curse that I probably didn't mention that is in this Omen movie, then let me know in the comment section below. It's easy to miss other details, but I would love to hear any more if you guys have heard anything that I have not mentioned in this video. So leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Happy haunting, stay scared, and have a very creepy night. Bye. Vivimos. I don't know what they're saying, but anyway, guys, I do have my Damien shirt on, come on, and I've got to show it. But right here is the crosses in the cemetery, and there is Damien right there. The Omen. And honestly, I'm not much a fan of coincidence. I think that coincidences are not real. There is no such thing. It's supposed to be that way, right?